Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
The boys are back in town, and the girls are back in town. We've got our full panel back here, minus Tom, sadly. But the ladies are here, joining me. I'm Lyndsey Wegner. We're going to be talking all about Supernatural, the Book of the Damned. Great episode today, ladies. You guys can find me on Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner. Katie, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's, Campbell.
And Mikaela, where can they find you on Twitter?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Mickey_Phillips. That's MIKI_Phillips.
Mickey, how was Miss Mikaela Phillips? How was WonderCon?
It was amazing. Thank you so much for asking. I mean, I missed being here, and you guys had some really cool guests in, which I did get to see, but it was absolutely amazing. It was my first ever experience of something like that. So yeah, down in WonderCon in Anaheim for like nearly about 4 days down there last week, and it was so cool. So we're there for the Magic Haven Saga. So yeah, it was a really great time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yay. Wonderful.
But I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back so we can have all of us girls together today to talk about this episode. You guys can find us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, all these places, Twitter, Facebook. Use the hashtag ABTV Supernatural to get into this discussion with all of us here. Keep the conversation going past the show. What did you ladies think of this episode?
I enjoyed it. I feel like things happened that I was excited about. Speaking about Cass and getting his Grace back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a big moment. I thought it was a fun, like a very packed episode.
I liked the way that he got the Grace back, which I'm sure we'll go into talking about. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good episode, and it was. I was excited to be back and talk about it, to be honest.
I feel like there was more happening. I mean, I feel like it was a full episode, but there was more substantial things happening towards the last half of the episode. I found myself having to like rewind and watch the first part again and again because I was like, okay, I'm not paying attention. I'm losing myself here. Okay. And then once I got towards the end of the episode, I was like, what's going on here? What's happening? So let's jump in. We obviously know that right now Metatron is mortal. So he's feeling pain. He's feeling all these feelings.
I'm eating a ton of pancakes, which look so good.
And Belgian waffles.
Yeah, I'll take the pancakes and the waffles. There you go. They look so good.
I loved seeing him experience these feelings and the fact that food goes in this end and comes out the other. Like, he just had so many funny lines, although I can't trust him, obviously. We see that later, but I just really liked him feeling what being a human is like.
I agree, and I like that he confronted Cass with that, too, in, like, the diner. He was like, how do you, like, not want to be, like, feeling this anymore? I thought that was a really good point that he brought up.
And when he said that, though, I just kept thinking, don't listen to it, Cass, because I just thought he was trying to confuse him and make him be like, yeah, being a human is what you really want. You know, I think he was just trying to throw him off.
Like, lure him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think he was, too. And Cass batted it away pretty quickly and stuff and was like, I don't miss any of that happening, so any of the outwardly stuff happening. But it's definitely nice to see, Metatron having these feelings. It's interesting to see. I think the same way that we liked seeing, Cass in the earlier episodes and Hannah and everything like that, those feelings coming out.
Yeah.
So we see Charlie. She's kind of being chased, followed by these two guys that have this weird compass-looking thing. And she ends up killing one, but they want what's in her bag, so we know they're after something. And it was in Russia and Alaska.
She's been traveling.
She's been traveling all over since she left. Was that a few episodes ago when we had bad Charlie and kick butt Charlie?
Yeah.
So Cass calls Dean because he's getting sick of Metatron and he's kind of getting annoyed with everything that's been he's been dealing with them.
He calls Sam,
Sam, yes. to let him know that he's getting sick of it and what can they do. And we know with the mark, there is a cure for Dean. They're still looking for it. He wants to find it. He knows that the mark is a curse. Because we saw last week that Rowena had said that, or 2 weeks ago that Rowena had said this. And then we get a call from Charlie. She's been shot. She stitched herself up using dental floss. She smells minty fresh at least. And she dug up the Book of the Damned at a monastery in Spain, which is a spell book, but it needs to be translated. And these guys, she knows they're following her by tracking this book.
I was curious how they were finding her, too. And the compass, was pointing them in the direction of where she is, so it's somehow linked with the book.
Right, like they were bound together.
I was trying to look when the book was there to see if there was like a missing piece.
Yeah.
Or something like how a diary has like a little lock on it. So maybe there was like a piece missing, but I couldn't, it was such quick shots of it that you couldn't really.
Yeah. I feel like it was just like insinuated that it was like they were bound together, just like how like the mark of Cain with like the first blade is.
Yes. So Sam and Dean are driving. Dean keeps talking about how once they get this all figured out, he's going to take a vacation. What are you guys thinking at the time? Do you think he's really being truthful? Do you think that thinks there's a possibility of getting rid of the mark, or do you think he's just wishful thinking, trying to keep Sam quiet about it?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because, like, Dean doesn't say something that he really doesn't mean. But at the same time, like, we know, like, there was a cure. There was one, like, right in front of them in this episode, and they couldn't use it, unfortunately. So it would have been too big of a sacrifice. So I think he's half-half. I think he's not wishful thinking. I don't think that's something Dean would do. But I think he's a little hesitant, but still, like, knows that they can do something to solve it.
I think he was a little hopeful after Rowena told him last episode that it's a curse, and every curse can be undone somehow. She doesn't, or she said that to Crowley, and Crowley told him when they actually met up later. And I just think that, even though, okay, there's no real answer there, it's some kind of hope that he's hanging on to. And, like you said, I don't think he would just kind of put that out there just to kind of keep Sam quiet. Right. I mean, maybe a little bit, but he also does truly believe that there is some kind of a hope. And it's cute because we get to see him rock out to the classic rock like Dean always does.
Yeah. And just touching on that, I do want to back that up, what we're saying, that Dean really means that, because later on he's like, the book's calling out to me, get rid of it, because he knew that there was, he could sense it and feel it with the mark of Cain. So I just think that validates it in their storyline.
So let's talk about the book a little bit, because they meet up with Charlie, and she says the book, she got it from a nun who had locked herself away, and the pages are from her skin, written in her blood. Yes.
Very graphic.
Pretty gross. And then he's paging through it. I'm like, how is this not breaking apart?
Some kind of a spell.
As always, supernatural, keeping us entertained with some sort of gore factor.
Yes.
So, and like you said, Mikaela, this is something that Dean says is calling to him.
Well, he ends up across the room with it in his hands and didn't even realize that he had taken it and walked away. It's just that he loses himself with it calling him like that, and he sees the danger of that.
That's honestly the perfect description. He got lost in it.
Now, when you guys were looking, when they were showing the book and the pages, did any of you think some of them looked familiar, like the marks that Rowena had put on her body 2 weeks ago that we saw painted?
Actually, that didn't cross my mind, but it seems, because what she was doing was creating some kind of a spell with that, so it would make sense that the book has those marks in there, because there are, it's a book of dark magic, basically, so witches, the covens have had it, the Vatican had it at one point, so I think that actually does bring up a good point and makes sense as to some of those symbols were actually the same, probably.
That was my first thought, is that these were definitely attached to a little bit of witchcraft, and they said this nun got this book. What if this nun is somehow related to the coven? What if this nun is Olivet back in the day, or even Rowena back in the day? What if she was plotting this whole thing, and now she knows that they have the Book of the Damned? And I mean, we'll get to our predictions later, but I feel like this has a nice little tie-in to Rowena.
I definitely agree.
She knows about this book.
Yeah. We'll jump more into that into predictions.
It'd be really a twist if she had planted it too.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
Really interesting.
That's why. Okay. All right. We're gonna save those for predictions. We've got good stuff coming up for you guys. So the angry Cupid that's what they're calling him, attacks Cass and Metatron. And Cass actually saves Metatron's life. Nice to see that. And then Metatron, of course, saves Cass's life. They had pulled angel blades on each other and stuff, and he's like, you can say thank you later and whatnot. And Cass basically just wants to get to the bottom of getting his grace back, figuring out what they're going to do with Metatron, getting rid of the Mark of Cain. So he doesn't have time for anything that Metatron is putting out there and trying to be all... In anywhere in this little mortal Metatron moments, were you ladies thinking that this was going to backfire some way?
I mean, I just think, like, with what happened in the library, I was like, because Cass is just so consumed with having to, like, get the grace and, like, all these different things that he was, like, you know, keeping Metatron and, like, in his eyesight at all times, that I feel like I'm a little disappointed that Cass, like, got a little blindsided by Metatron in that scene. I feel like he should have picked it up a bit more. But yeah, I mean, I think so. But at the same time, I didn't expect it either. So I was like, oh, Metatron, nice move.
I just don't think he could trust him at all. I mean, I can't trust him. He's just so sneaky with everything that he does, and there's no way he's just, like, really enjoying the waffles, and he's saying these funny things, but he's also, in his mind somewhere, he's putting together a plan. Like, that's just Metatron.
He's calculating.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just as... I mean, that's the same way that Crowley is. We always know he's thinking one step ahead of all of us. So I knew something in, you know, Metatron going to this library. There has to be something else hidden in this library. So we know that they go to the library to try and get back Cass's grace, but we also know there's a whole setup there that it's hidden in books, and then there's riddles to find it. And so Cass is annoyed, and Metatron's trying to figure them out. And we find out that not only is Cass's grace in this library, but that Metatron, there is a hidden demon tablet there that Metatron gets a hold of after casting some sort of written spell on the books using his blood from his gunshot wound.
I thought that was so, like, I liked how that
cool.
happened. Yeah,
I
it was
love
really
all these
good.
spells, like, lately. I feel like they've kind of been more prevalent lately. So he casts a spell on Cass, and Cass kind of chokes and is, you know, kind of incapacitated. And luckily he finds his grace just in time to kind of get that, but not before Metatron leaves with the demon tablet.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 isn't bad, and then he just darts out of there.
What do we think of this demon tablet?
Where do we begin? No, but honestly, like, I didn't even figure, like, he would have had that there, and then Cass was just, it's like, it's just that little bit quicker, he wouldn't have gotten away, Metatron.
I mean, I'm nervous, and I think he's going to definitely pose a threat in these next coming episodes.
He's
But, like,
still
what's
mortal,
his
though.
goal? Yeah.
And he's still mortal. So he can only do so much.
Yeah, he might have to join forces with someone.
But he did that spell.
He did the spell because I think he still has power. Oh. Do you think he's faking being mortal?
He could be.
Oh, I just got chills.
You actually do.
I really do. I have chills on my arms and my legs right now.
You can't trust him.
How's that possible? Wait, what happened?
Well,
how did we turn him mortal a few episodes ago? They took the grace from him. So it's not okay. All right. Okay, guys, this is a perfect time to tweet us and comment and let us know what you think, if Metatron is really mortal right now, or if you think this is a giant ruse he just set up and that's why he could create the spell or something else.
Because I thought it was interesting that he still had the knowledge of that being mortal. I was like, do you still, like, remember that stuff to be able to do it? Can you have the power to be able to still, like, do a spell like that?
Remembering maybe, but the power, I don't think.
Yeah. Ooh. So that's going to open up a lot in the next episode.
Hashtag ABTV Supernatural. Tweet us. Holy cow. All right, so let's jump back to the book, and as I like to call them, the douche clan. Is that what Charlie called them, or Sam and Dean called them?
I think Dean
did it.
Dean called them the douche clan. There's a tattoo on the guys. The book is written in a Sumerian dialect. They got to translate it, but somehow, once again, the guys are translating the book. So they hide it into this, like, box that has lead so that it can be untracked. But they still, this douche clan still knows where, what direction they were heading. So now it's just a matter of waiting them out and finding out when they're going to kind of pop up to actually kind of track them in.
Which Dean does.
In
the convenience store.
Yeah, but before we get to the convenience store, let's talk a little bit about the book and the fact that it is possible to remove this mark using the book. but there's going to have to be more negative. There's going to be a, what did I just write down? A negative action happens. They want to use it, but it's not going to be for good. It's been calling to him. They need to get rid of the book because there's going to be more harm than good done by using this spell.
Dark magic comes with a price. I don't want them to use it. That's what I was thinking. When they said that dark magic comes with a price, I just didn't want them to have anything to do with it.
How bad can it get? They're already down up a creek.
But still, I feel like there has to be some other way. It's not just like the answer is in the book.
Yeah, I like it could be like a ruse or something. Like you got to do this and you got to do this, you got to do that. But I don't know. I thought it was a bit of like a lapse in judgment, or just I don't know, just in the social age that we're in with like phones and everything like that they didn't like at least take a screenshot like on the phone or like what was in the book before burning it. Like they had all this time they were translating it. Like they could have at least taken some pics, which we've seen them do in a lot of other episodes, and it was just burned. And I was like, I mean, they could have done that. They could have still had the spell and just translated it from that.
But Dean wanted to get rid of it, but
they could have still like got rid of it, and
they could have still got rid of it and still had the
like
screenshots then and still been able to.
Yeah.
I mean, they still would have done. They would still would have had to do some sort of harm to do the good with the spell, no matter whether they got rid of the book or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, Dean, we've had Demon Dean, we've had Dean being a killing machine. I mean, I know there's so much worse that could go on, but how much really worse to get Dean back to being normal?
Right. Maybe
is it worth it? Maybe it is. What are you going to instead do? Make a deal with Metatron or make a deal with the devil? You're going to make a deal with Crowley's mom?
Well, you have to wonder, though, is if when they do actually translate everything, if it actually tells them what's going to happen. So maybe they can at least just see what the translation is.
Right.
And if it doesn't,
that's what I figured they would kind of do.
And if it just says, like the dark magic will, has consequences, and they don't tell them, then I feel like maybe we shouldn't do it. But if it does tell them what it is, maybe then you can start reevaluating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that was a really interesting point, that they didn't think of that, or that it wasn't written in. But my only prediction as to why they wouldn't have gone that direction is because not having the book now, not having that spell, I guess you could call it, to remove the microcane pushes Sam towards Rowena even more so.
Exactly.
Which is a really interesting thing, which I like.
What we want to see.
Because I think I predicted that a while back, so I'm kind of interesting to see where this goes.
When we get to Charlie and Sam, since you just talked about Sam, talking about, what's been kind of going on with Dean, and that he had a chance to close the gates of hell, but Sam would have had to die, and Dean would never have allowed that. It was impossible. So they got in this big fight. He's kind of just explaining the ins and outs of Charlie, and that's why there's this tension between the two of them. Katie, what were you going to say?
Well, that's what, I've said before in some of these after shows, that, they will do anything for their brother. So you can't be mad at your brother for wanting to go to the ends of the earth for you. And I just want them to be able to figure it out and work together and be together in the end. It's a constant struggle that we've seen, throughout these 10 seasons, is, they will go to the ends of the earth for each other.
But we get to see Sam say that because he said,
which he
brings up to Charlie. He says, I was going to go out for one more case. I wanted to finish school, but this is where I need to be. This is what I love to do. You see his genuine content in doing what he's doing and helping people, and knowing that he is in the right place, being beside his brother doing this.
He couldn't do it without him.
Well,
That's what we want to see.
Sam wouldn't do it. I don't think Sam wouldn't do it without Dean. I think Dean would do it without Sam, because that's how the first season ever started, actually. Dean pulling Sam back into the family business. So I agree. I think Dean would be able to handle it without Sam, but not Sam without Dean.
And I think they both need each other.
I think they both need each other too, and I think that they're in full power when they're both together.
Yeah,
Kind of like now that Cass has his full angel power back and all his grace, he's in full power. But remember what Metatron said. He goes, "What are you trying to do? Hannah's restored everything to normal in heaven. What more? What is your purpose here?"
It's interesting.
Which is true.
I mean, I think
what's his end goal?
His purpose now is that he, is so close with these brothers, and he's on the road with them, helping them, figuring it out. But I think that might have been the moment that Metatron tripped him up a little bit in his head, and he actually thought, what am I doing? But I don't want him to, don't get sidetracked by Metatron, because we can't trust him.
No, we can't, but it's a very valid point that Metatron is making, and it also could potentially end, Cass's storyline if he just goes back up to heaven and goes, you guys need to deal with this on your own. Or if he's like, well, I'll help them with the mark and then go do my own thing. Well, there's always going to be something that's going to suck him back in.
Right.
So, we'll see. All right, so we obviously get Dean going to the gas station, and the douche clan has killed the guy at the Quick Mart, and Dean recognizes the tattoo on his arm, so knows right away he needs to, these are the guys that are looking for Charlie, and they overtake him. They notice the mark. They say the Book of the Damned wants to go home. What are these guys? Are they witches? They're obviously a part of some sort of coven.
The Stein family.
But what is the point of this book for them? And then I feel like, are these Rowena's minions if it's part of the whole coven?
Somehow intertwined with that. I just think it's just interesting. We hear him say, this book will help you. It'll take that off. But you don't even want to go down that path. So hearing that from him, you can't really trust him because he wants the book too. But at the end of the day, Dean could make a deal if he wanted and say, oh, help me fix this, and then you can have the book. Obviously, he's never going to want that because these guys are bad news, and Dean didn't want to use the book because of the bad ramifications. But it's interesting hearing that from this man as well. You're never going to come back from these dark things that are going to happen if you do use this book. So just don't use it. That's what I just was thinking the whole time.
Were you thinking the same thing, Mikaela? Don't use the book?
I was open to it, actually. I was open to seeing what would happen because he's talking about that there would be all these ramifications and things that would happen. And I was kind of you could open Pandora's box a little here. It would go into, we know that it's already been picked up for the next season. So does the Mark of Cain end this season? We're more than halfway through. So thoughts are just circling. And I was I'd be open to that having happened because I kind of was they're teasing us a little, running us around with this book. What's the next move? And I think that's what brings us to Sam and Rowena.
Which is why I agree with you. I think that I'm more open towards them using the book because we've already seen so much be done this season, and then Cain might be dead. I still don't know that. I love all of your responses on YouTube and stuff saying that you're not sure if Cain is really dead. We never saw a body, so we cannot 100% say that he is dead. So, we really don't know what could happen with the potential use of this book. We've seen Dean be Demon Dean, so why not try it and see what's going to happen? Unless it's literally going to hurt mankind.
Do you guys think there's potential for a Metatron and Cain little thing to happen, little partnership or something, if he isn't dead? Because we didn't see the body, we didn't get that much clarification. Metatron's off with the demon tablet.
I'm not sure, but
it's really unlikely, but just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm curious as who these ramifications are going to happen to. Is it who uses the book? So, for example, if Sam uses the book to help Dean, it's not going to happen to Dean, it's going to happen to Sam.
Or is it going to be something that hurts the angels or the population, or who is it? Who's it going to hurt? Who's it really, really going to affect? So obviously then Dean notices that in killing these guys at the gas station, it's taking a lot of bullets. He's put another clip in his gun to kill this guy, and they do obviously follow him back to the cabin, and Dean keeps telling Sam, get rid of the book, burn the book, get rid of it. The guys come in just as the guy is about to hurt Sam after he throws the book into the fire. Dean has shot him, Sam stabs him, he's done.
Yeah, but he's done, but the other Stein people are not done.
The other Stein people are not done. And as this book burns, I'm thinking another opportunity to save Dean has been lost.
I thought it was gone too.
Again. Yeah, we'll jump more into that. Now, we then get to see them in the bunker, Cass and Charlie meeting for the first time. How adorable was that scene?
This was my favorite thing. It was so cute, and how he actually helped her and
healed her carpal tunnel and her bullet wound, and she was like, oh my god, that makes us besties.
Yeah. It was really cute. I loved that moment.
I think they had a good interaction too, chemistry acting wise.
Yeah.
That was their first time together, so that was kind of neat to see. And then, so they'll have a pizza night. They're all hanging out. So just as the episode ends, though, we see the major flop of this, and he's talking about how he needs to help and it needs to be translated, and he's doing this for the good. And we see a little flashback to the fire. The Book of the Damned was actually not thrown into the fire.
I was yelling at my TV at this point.
Yep, agreed. It was one of my moments where I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And the thing is, like you said, the Stein noticed. The guy, I think his name was Jacob. I think that was the ringleader's guy.
Jacob Stein.
Jacob noticed that the book did not go in. That's why he was going to go and try and, like, hurt Sam. So the Book of the Damned is still there. The opportunity is not lost. Mikaela, it can still happen. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready, Supernatural. I'm ready.
I'm going to have a panic attack if they really do use this book.
So on top of knowing that we have this book back, we then get hit with another little doozy because he's obviously talking to someone, and I'm like, turn the camera around, turn the camera around. Who are you talking to?
I was yelling Rowena.
You knew
at the TV.
Did we all know it?
Yeah.
All three of us knew it. It was Arena. I'm sure you guys all knew it too, or guessed that it was going to be Rowena. Holy cow. And she's sitting there and she goes, well, let's discuss our terms. She's going to work
In
with
true
Sam.
Rowena fashion.
She's going to work with Sam, and this is Sam's last resort. And here we go.
Yep.
Right?
I want
ready.
to know these terms that she's talking about.
Absolutely.
Obviously, maybe to keep the book.
I think the book belongs to her. But okay, so next week we've got Sam saying that Rowena's his last resort. Dean is curious about what Sam's actually doing. He knows something's up, and Sam said that he would kill Crowley to Rowena.
I don't want to kill Crowley.
I don't want to kill Crowley either, but Sam's willing to do it if it's going to save Dean. So let's jump into some predictions right now.
We also see Benny return.
Oh yes, Benny returns too.
Yeah.
As well.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
There's so much to talk about right now. So many predictions to be had.
There is.
Mikaela, do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so let's jump back into Rowena and Sam as we're talking about. So their alliance is forming. He's gone to her. Finally, I have been saying this for a while, and I was hoping this would happen. So I'm kind of glad that that prediction came true, came to fruition. I think when she was discussing the terms, and it definitely went off like a light in my head, I was like, okay, what are her terms going to be? I don't think it's actually going to be killing Crowley. That may be an option for Sam to kill Crowley. I think her terms are going to be that if she removes the mark of Cain for Dean, that she's going to ask Sam and or Dean, is like both of them as well, to help her with the Grand Coven. Something that could help her with that, because that's what she really wants.
To help her with it in what way?
That's what for us to find out.
To help her become like the leader of it.
Yeah, whatever she
think
needs.
that's
She might
too
need
easy for her.
something. She might need something that's hunted. So they're hunters. She might need stuff like that. So I think she's going to ask them for that. I think that may be the terms.
I wonder though if because we saw some of her in the very beginning, she wanted to kind of be in the throne
Of hell.
Yeah, so I wonder if killing Crowley, as he didn't stick by her side, he kicked her out, she's just going to drop him and say, okay, I don't care what happens to him, and she wants to take over.
That's true. That's also a really good prediction as well.
I think that's more along the lines of where they're going to go with that, is having somehow kill Crowley or make him no longer the king of hell, make her the queen of hell. Because remember when Abaddon was back there, I was like, it would be awesome if Crowley and Abaddon could rule hell together, but we knew that was never going to happen. They never got along. It's obviously not going to be possible for mother son to be able to do this together either. They just despise each other too much, and they're both too conniving against each other. So she's going to have to somehow overtake Crowley, which I could see some sort of terms to take away his power and to have Sam and Dean help her with that. What else are you thinking, Katie?
I am excited to see Benny return. I don't know. We haven't seen him since he was left in purgatory. I'm curious what's going to happen with that. But I do think that this book is going to be used, even though I'm not happy about it. But I think that that's what's going to lead into, I really hope, anyways, that we do get this Mark of Cain figured out by the end of the season. I want to just put it to rest. But I do think by doing that, we are going to use the book because Sam wants to, behind Dean's back, which we've seen for many episodes now. He's doing things behind his back. And I just think that's what's going to lead into season 11, is the ramifications of this Book of the Damned.
Well, I agree. That book is still out there, so I'm open for something to happen with that. But it'd be interesting if that was her terms as well. Or because, I mean, like, yeah, the book's still out there, but Sam's gone to Rowena. That might throw, like, I don't know, a little spark into the fire there.
I still think this book of the Damned, has something to do with Rowena. And that's how she's going to know how to translate it, because she's written the book. Hence why the spells look familiar that she had drawn on her body. I mean, all the spells, I mean, they all kind of look the same.
Right.
But I think she has something to do with this book, or knows who wrote this book. And that's why she's going to be able to translate it. So this does have something essentially to do with the Grand Covenant. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, Mikaela, she somehow, placed this in Charlie's, closeness so that Charlie could find it and then do this, because if it's something that can help Sam and Dean, that gets her closer to Sam and Dean, which gets her closer to overtaking them, which gets her closer to overtaking Crowley.
And it's an unsuspecting way that she's done it.
She's gone totally around, like
full circle, and went to
with
someone they trust, which is Charlie.
But she broke into the museum to get it.
It doesn't mean that Rowena didn't place it in there.
And then we find out Charlie was brainwashed. No, I'm just kidding.
It doesn't mean that Rowena didn't place it in there or knew that it was there.
I wouldn't put anything past Rowena, especially when we saw her. She did like that spell where she could go to see like what Crowley was doing.
I don't think Rowena needs the book. I don't think it really serves any purpose for her. She already knows all the spells in it. But she knows that this would help. In the wrong hands is going to help her hurt people. So I think that's why it's valid for her to want it and to want the brothers to have it for this whole Mark of Cain thing.
To use them to her advantage.
Yes, to use them to her advantage. Do you guys have any predictions about Cass?
I was trying to think of what will be happening with his character. Apart from that, I do think Metatron was kind of trying to get in his head, or just I don't know, see what his plan is. Maybe he was just trying to figure out what Cass's plan is to be ahead of him, because he was making those comments like, don't you miss all like this, being human, the taste, the feeling, and then he also was like, well, what are you going to do when you get to heaven? And I don't know if Cass has even thought of that. So is he trying to want Cass to become mortal again? That's I'm trying to figure out what Metatron's angle is. So that's kind of a prediction. It's more of a thought, but yeah.
We don't know his angle, but I do think that because we saw Cass react in that way to Metatron, he's going to, whether it's slowly or not, it's going to come back into his head and think okay, what am I really doing here? But I don't know exactly how fast that'll happen.
Do we think if Metatron is mortal, how is he going to survive by himself? And how is he going to survive if he's not mortal? Do you think that he's just going to go back up and start wreaking havoc on everything?
I think that's possible with his track record, to just keep doing that, especially with the demon tablet now in his possession. But if he was to form an alliance, I would kind of like it to be Cain. If Cain is still out there, which I think there's a pretty good chance that he still is, I think that would be just a very interesting alliance and just very interesting kind of partnership between them to see what their main goal would be. Would it be towards the Winchester brothers? And just keep seeing where it takes them.
Wonderful. Anything else, Katie?
I don't know what I'm going to get from Metatron. I know that there's something, but I just don't know. I don't understand what he's doing. I don't know. I can't think of a prediction with him.
We will find out.
We will find out. And it doesn't look like we're going to find out next week either, though. Feels like we've got too much going on, and we've got the Rowena storyline jumping right back in. So you guys make sure to tweet us or anything on Twitter or YouTube with the hashtag ABTV Supernatural so that we can talk to you guys all about this. Mikaela, where can they find you?
Absolutely. You guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Mickey_Phillips and on Instagram at Mikaela Phillips.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at Katie Campbell 13. And you can find me at youtube.com/Katie Campbell Online. I have a weekly vlog.
It's lovely. Make sure you guys check that out.
Thank you.
You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner, or my blog, lyndsey.blogspot.com. That's LYNDSEYWEGNER. We will see you guys next week for more supernatural craziness right here at AfterBuzz TV on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.